Welcome, Sens Talk.
Here comes Sens with a pass across to the stars. He bats it in. Tim Stutzler wins it for Ottawa. Triple Grant is going to put the finishing touches on an Ottawa win. See you later. Go Sens, go.
Welcome to Sens Talk. My name is Brandon Plant, and I am your host. I want to apologize in advance. I'm battling a bit of a cold right now. I'm sorry if my voice is raspy throughout this video. I'm trying my best. But with that, let's get into it. Tonight, the Ottawa Senators took on the New Jersey Devils as Ottawa looks to win back-to-back games for the first time this season against a pretty solid New Jersey Devil team. Now, Ottawa certainly was missing a couple of key players going into this one. Firstly, Linus Ullmark will not play tonight. We'll have more of an update on him at the end of this video. It's certainly not, a non-possibility that he will start on Saturday. Definitely a chance he does. But Artem Zub would not play in this game. He's out at least for a week with a concussion after that collision with Tanner Jeannot last game on Monday. Ridley Gregg is also out for a week. So a couple of key injuries there for the Ottawa Senators, and a key goaltender not starting as well. Speaking of starting, Anton Forsberg would start for the Ottawa Senators today. He has a career save percentage of .897 against the Devils. To the first period we go, and after 20 minutes of play, both clubs would be even at 0-0 apiece. However, Ottawa actually looked better than the Devils in that first period. You can't say the same for the next two periods, but at least for this period, the Ottawa Senators looked pretty solid. I thought the fourth line in particular in this period and throughout the night have looked very, very good, and they've shown some real natural chemistry in the beginning portion of the season. In fact, Adam Gaudette and Nick Cousins were both tied for the most shots in this game for Ottawa Senator forwards, or actually just the Ottawa Senators as a whole, with 3 apiece. So two of your guys in the fourth line were tied for the team lead in shots tonight. So that really shows how good that fourth line performed tonight. While Shane Pinto also generated some really, really good opportunities in that first period. And it's not a shocker going into the third period, for example. And I mentioned going into the third because after the third period, Stützle and Tkachuk and whatnot would lead by a couple of minutes. As they're pushing at the end, you're going to put your top guys. That makes sense. But it really is a testament to how good Shane Pinto was in the early portion of this game, as he was really the only offensive guy not on that fourth line that was driving the play and really creating some offense. And he's looked so good this year so far, Shane Pinto. He seems to, every single game, get a few very good looks on net. So Shane Pinto, a guy on the third line, is a guy, in my opinion, who can score 40 to 50 points at the minimum this year. This guy is only getting better every single game. And, and we'll talk about this later in the video, but when guys like Josh Norris, for example, kind of look invisible for majority of the year, maybe you slip him to the wing and call up a guy like Pinto to the second line. That possibility absolutely exists as long as he continues to play so well. But we go to the second period of play, and this is where the Ottawa Senators begin to really struggle. In the second period of play, the Devils would strike first to make it 1-0. Nick Cousins gets caught high. Eric Holla trails through the slot area, tips one late past Anton Forsberg through the 5-hole. Jacob Bernard-Docker, who drew into this game for the first time this season, he started a game, also should have pressured Holla more there out front. Just a couple of missed assignments by the Ottawa Senators results in a goal for the Devils to make it 1-0 New Jersey. Later on in the period, the Devils would make it 2-0. This was just a brutal goal all around, a play that should never have happened shorthanded. Claude Giroux with a careless, stupid backhand pass to nobody. It's a turnover. Bashian for the New Jersey Devils on a 2-1. Scores blocker side past Anton Forsberg. Shabbat did the right thing there, gave the shooter to the goaltender and took out the pass. Just, again, bad play by Giroux, who, by the way, didn't even back check there. And, I'm not going to be too harsh on Claude Giroux, who's done his fair share for the Ottawa Senators in his couple of years here with Ottawa, but that was pretty disheartening to see. He had a pretty crappy turnover, and he didn't even back check. And for a veteran like that, you want to see better, no doubt, and didn't see that there. And yeah, you can say that, Forsberg probably should have stopped that puck. Definitely an iffy goal, but again, you can blame Forsey all you want, but at the end of the day, that sequence should never have even happened. That power play should have not generated offensive opportunities for the Devils, which, by the way, moments before that one also had an opportunity to score. So that power play was a steaming pile of garbage and results in a shorthanded goal for the Devils to make it 2-0 after 40 minutes of play. At this point of the game, people can say what they will about Ottawa's goaltending in particular, with Anton Forsberg, but he has been solid going into the third period, stopping 22-24 through the first 40 minutes of play. And we go to the third period of play, and, Ottawa, they were playing all right this game, and I'm just going to get to it now because, look, the Devils will make it 3-0. Again, it's just the same thing over and over again. If you look at the 5-on-5 play, for the most part, Ottawa did pretty solid. They weren't getting beat by the Devils at all, but it's plays like this in their own zone, and, of course, on the special teams, like the shorthanded goal and the power play goal, for example, that really shows the weakness for the Ottawa Senators, which is the turnovers and the puck watching. And you see the puck watching on this third goal as Cotter, his 5th goal of the year. That's kind of unbelievable. Scores on a rebound past Forsberg in the slot. And again, the Sens are caught puck watching and floating around here on this goal. Nick Cousins, I know you're a forward. You got to go up, pressure the guys near the blue line. But he was kind of just trailing around, floating. That's the second time that happened for him. Which is a bit surprising because Nick Cousins is usually pretty strong in his zone, but tonight was a little iffy, to be honest with you. On the defensive side of things, again, offensively, he was fine, but your fourth line guy, you're looking for the opposite. You're looking for more defensive stuff than offensive, so definitely need some correction there for Nick Cousins, who overall was fine. Just, again, defensively, it wasn't just him, so I don't want to just single him out. The entire team in these situations were just floating around, watching the puck get passed around, and of course, 2 out of these 3 goals were slot goals where the guy trailed in, not picked up by anybody. So these are mistakes that just shouldn't be happening. I don't care if it's early in the year. They've had all preseason. They had 8 games in the preseason to get this out of the way. So seeing these consistent mistakes is absolutely concerning. Ottawa would get a goal in the final minute or so. Claude Giroux on the power play would rip a shot through a screen. Braykochuk appears to have tipped it out front past Markstrom and the 5-hole to give Ottawa a 2-goal deficit and to break the shutout bid for Jacob Markstrom. But it's not enough, obviously. That would be a power play goal, by the way, but it's not enough as Ottawa falls to the New Jersey Devils in game number 4 on the year for Ottawa, as Ottawa drops the 500 at 2-2-0. Anton Forsberg today. Say what you will again. I've seen some comments. I don't understand the comments, frankly, because he was pretty good tonight. All we asked from Anton Forsberg, as I said in my season preview video, is we need 900 hockey. Just give us 900 hockey, and Ottawa, statistically, would be a playoff team, basically, as long as he gave us 900. He gave us 914 today, okay? 32 for 35. He faced a good amount of shots, made some big stops in tight, some really, really big stops, actually. He made some really, really beautiful saves, looked very athletic. And, my last video, I mentioned how Forsberg looked slow in his net, and he did last game. This game, much stronger in terms of the push-offs and that athleticism. So that was encouraging. And again, whenever your goalie gives you a 914 save percentage, you should be winning that game, or at least be in that game. So it really comes down to Ottawa just not generating much offensively today, which is pretty obvious, obviously, but let me break it down for you. Ottawa today hit 4 posts, okay? So 4 times they beat Markstrom. They just couldn't put it into the back of the net. So that is going to happen. Not 4 times, but a couple of posts are going to happen here and there. But obviously, Ottawa just couldn't buy a goal today when it really counted. Noah Gregor, by the way, looked pretty good in really Greg's spot there on the second line. I've had no issues with Noah Gregor. He doesn't look out of place by any means, but again, he's no really Greg. He's no, Josh Norris, for example, if he's shifted to the wing. You could do much better there, and it shows because that second line was invisible today. But I just want to say this, just about Noah Gregor. I just want to focus on that for a sec. Gregor was tied for the lead in shots for the Ottawa Senators today with 3. He actually led the Sens in shots going to the third period with 3. So I thought he had a good game. He hit the post once as well. And he's been pretty solid this year, to be honest with you. I just think he'd be more in a better position in that bottom 6. He would bring a lot more to the team in that bottom 6 because that speed element would bring a lot to that bottom 6. And, of course, he has a sneaky good shot as well. So I think that scoring ability to supplement, the third and fourth line would be great. And speaking of the third and fourth line, I kind of already alluded to it. Ottawa's top 6 was invisible today. Take away that last-minute goal that, who cares, right? I mean, I love hearing the goal horn more than anyone else, but the goal didn't matter. The top 6 today was invisible. I mean, the most notable stat from the top 6 was, Tim Stützle leading the team in hits, all right? Like, that's not exactly, encouraging stuff. And, again, other than Shane Pinto, the big guys on the offense were invisible. I would put Drake Batherson, frankly, back on that first line. And the Sens' leading shot producers in this game were from the bottom 6. I'm talking guys like Amadio. I'm talking guys like, Nick Cousins, like Noah Gregor. And Tkachuk slipped in there with 3 shots as well, but Brady Tkachuk always gets multiple shots a game. He didn't really look noticeable either in this game, to be honest with you. So that top 6, Other than the Monday crazy game against the Kings, and of course the home opener, the offense really hasn't clicked this year, and it's only game 4, plenty of time, but, these guys are elite players, so I'm not really too worried about it. Again, it's a great sign that your bottom 6 is picking up the slack in the meantime. It's just unfortunate that didn't generate to any goals today. It's generated to chance, 4 posts, but again, you need to have your top 6 contributing with that bottom 6 playing well, because then you have a well-rounded attack at all times, and of course you're going to generate more offense. Now, I wanted to mention this as well. Tyler Kleven struggled today. Same with Jacob Bernard-Docker, but I think JBD was far better than Kleven. Kleven really struggled. He even, took a penalty because he got beat cleanly to the net. Not a great game there for Tyler Kleven, who has struggled this year, no doubt. When Zub comes back, I think it's worthy of him and JBD, maybe flipping in and out, giving JBD more of a leash here, because I think he looked pretty fine, to be honest with you. Definitely got beat to the net a couple times there, especially on a goal or two, which isn't great. But again, Kleven hasn't inspired much. He had a great chance on Markstrom, almost scored. Markstrom made a great athletic stop with the pad, but, you want him to be a defensive guy. He hasn't been it. So we'll see what happens with that. And in terms of Hamnick, he was on the first pairing with Sanderson. He looked fine. Actually looked pretty good. And it's not shocking when you're paired with a guy like Jake Sanderson. And then Chabot and Jensen. Chabot led the Sens defenseman in time on ice. And Jensen stopped a goal. He had a great stick today. So the defense was, from the top 4, overall fine. It was the bottom pairing that struggled a little bit. And 2 of those 3 goals were a result of the bottom pairing on the... Actually, no, Jensen was on the ice for that 3rd goal. My apologies. But the point still stands that 3rd pairing struggled a bit today. And Kleven in particular stood out in that regard. Now, the last thing I want to mention is Linus Ullmark. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, he has a chance to play on Saturday against the Tampa Bay Lightning, which is a 1 o'clock puck drop on Saturday. It's a matinee game. He practiced today, so maybe he starts. We'll see. But again, I want to mention this. People have been very critical on Anton Forsberg. He had a very solid game today, and if he starts on Saturday against Tampa Bay, I'm not worried really, because he inspired a lot of confidence for me in this one. Sure, that 2nd goal is a little iffy, but when your goaltender puts up a .914 save percentage, stops 32-35, and has only 1 iffy goal, that's a pretty good performance in my opinion, especially coming from your backup. So with that, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. As always, I appreciate your support, and I will see you all on Saturday when Ottawa takes on the Tampa Bay Lightning. With that, I'll see you all soon. Go Sens, go.